In recent news, it looks like Russia has got a big gun on Elon Musk's head as they are looking to destroy his SpaceX satellites. Elon has reacted to the confrontation, and we know he won't sit around and let his brilliant invention get blown away. What has Elon Musk got in his sleeves to counter this threat if it ever happens? Take a seat and relax as we disclose how Elon Musk gave Russia a stern warning if any of his satellites gets taken down. Since the beginning of Putin's invasion, Mr. Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, has given Ukraine more than 10,000 dish antennas, making him the most likely of all the Western corporations supporting Ukraine to enrage Russia. These satellites have been utilized to control drones that were used to fight the invading Russian forces, as well as in government buildings, hospitals, and educational institutions. A dramatic escalation in tension between Russia and the US would result from Putin attacking SpaceX satellites because no nation has ever launched a missile attack against an adversary satellite. Russia's serious threat to shoot down SpaceX satellites has drawn a warning from Elon Musk. The creator of SpaceX, Elon Musk, is well known for his grand intentions to conquer Mars, but it appears he also has a goal to deter Russia from shooting down his satellites. The Starlink satellite network's destruction has been revealed by local Russian media, putting SpaceX back in the spotlight since it confirms Musk's fears that Russia might attempt to destroy the satellites. According to reports in Russian media outlets, a massive number of missiles with a target engagement range of at least 500 kilometers would be required to destroy the Starlink satellite network. The Starlink satellites make it possible for communication between the Ukrainian armed forces and the NATO command to be carried out very effectively, which is advantageous for military operations. Elon Musk issued a warning about Russian technological advancements that could be used to obliterate SpaceX satellites. Given that SpaceX depends on satellites for communication and navigation, this would seriously undermine his ambitions for a Mars colony. Musk's warnings underlines the animosity between the two nations in the quest to control space, even if it's unclear whether Russia plans to fire down SpaceX satellites. The US entrepreneur Elon Musk's business is in charge of the Starlink satellite network system. According to the research, which claims to be based on the opinions of military experts, at least 4,000 missiles would be required to destroy the satellite network because there are already more than 3,000 SpaceX satellites in orbit. However, it's likely that the network will continue to work because some of the satellites are circling at an altitude of 600 kilometers, which is beyond the missile's range. Although in a limited capacity, this material has come to light in response to Elon Musk's accusation on October 15th that Russia was seeking to disable Starlink satellite systems in Ukraine. Despite the resources invested in its security, the system could stop working. At the waterfront, only Starlink is still in use. All other communication systems have been obliterated. Russia is working diligently to eliminate Starlink. A large portion of SpaceX's efforts have been redirected toward the creation of its defenses. Despite this, Starlink may be cancelled, according to Elon Musk in a tweet. Starlink is a next-generation satellite network that was created to provide broadband internet services to users all over the world. The project was launched for the first time by SpaceX in February 2018. According to a report released in September by SpaceX, Musk declared in September that the Starlink satellite internet service is now available on every continent. This year, the company has given Ukraine Starlink services worth over $120 million. Additionally, according to SpaceX, doing so in the future could cost as much as $400 million. And this may be one of the reasons why the Pentagon in the United States was recently urged to bear the cost of providing satellite health services to Ukraine on February 26th, immediately following the start of Russia's invasion and the destruction of the communication network. Mikhailo Fedorov, the Ukrainian Minister of Digital Transformation, demanded that Elon Musk provide Starlink stations and satellite internet to his country. Air and Space Law Program co-director Michelle Hanlon of the University of Mississippi School of Law stated, "We haven't ever been this close to the edge before because of this threat. Although there has always been a nagging feeling that it might happen, no one has ever come right out and stated they might do it." Along with Starlink, private satellite photography companies like Planet, Maxar, and BlackSky have been instrumental in the military effort against Russia by gathering intelligence and freely sharing aerial photographs of the fighting. Musk quickly said that the Starlink service had been successfully introduced in Ukraine and pledged to send additional terminals there. On the other hand, the satellite terminals built by Denmark above Ukraine have been the subject of debate for a while. The media claimed at the beginning of this month that Starlink's internet service had been severely disrupted for the Ukrainian military. Two government representatives from Ukraine told the media that when Ukrainian armed forces personnel traveled to recently liberated cities under Russian rule, they had trouble connecting to the internet there. The experts believe that some of the SpaceX crew members may have caused the problem because they were trying to prevent the Russian military from using the technology. The media was informed by two Ukrainian government officials that the service members experienced issues accessing the internet in such locations. The experts believe that some of the SpaceX crew members may have caused the problem because they were trying to prevent the Russian military from exploiting the technology. This was necessary because at the time, it had yet to be officially announced that certain territories had been liberated. At the beginning of this month, there were allegations that the Russian military had attempted to jam the Starlink satellite communications by using a device known as Tirada 2S, an electronic jamming device. Only a small amount of the system-related information is accessible in the public domain. According to a recent article in a newspaper that reviews military news and events, the Starlink system may be one of the frequent targets for Russian forces. Furthermore, the research showed how successful Starlink has become to the extent that it is essentially the only way for Ukrainian armed personnel to communicate in space today. When asked if Russia would try to destroy the Starlink network, the study's findings revealed this specific piece of information, making it simpler to ensure that communication, monitoring, and navigation are maintained continually for the duration of the operation. It would be rather reckless to try to physically knock the Starlink system down, said Squadron Leader Vijender Kumar Thakur, an Indian Air Force veteran and in-house analyst of Eurasian Times. There is not the slightest hint of evidence to suggest that Russia has the means or the desire to achieve this. It is possible that it will consider destroying Starlink satellites using its Tirada EW system or persistent laser weapon. But even if it succeeded, it would only be a futile attempt. Despite its adaptability and low cost, Starlink satellite communication is not the only available form of communication. There are other options open to you, including using high-frequency microwaves or even a troposcatter as alternative modes of communication. The satellite technology provided by Starlink has been used by the Ukrainian military to conduct more precise assaults, and a variety of drones in addition to more sophisticated missiles use satellite navigation to guide their movements. In addition, attacking satellites is a game in which other players can join in on the fun as well. Because Starlink is in charge of delivering the service in addition to other NATO satellites, the Russians have a considerable amount of mistrust for Starlink. The Russian government has warned that it's possible they may destroy civilian satellites aiding military activities. According to the Eurasian Times, the SpaceX satellite network has garnered a lot of interest and attention in the wake of a Russian invasion. The concern about the likelihood that SpaceX's impressive satellite network could help the US military increase its dominance in space has grown among Chinese military analysts. The article, which stated that SpaceX has decided to increase the number of Starlink satellites from 12,000 to 42,000, was published on China Military Online, the official news website affiliated with the Central Military Commission, which is China's highest national defense organization and is headed by President Xi Jinping himself. The international community should be on high alert due to the program's unrestricted growth and the company's desire to exploit it for military operations. Captain Arvind Pandey, a retired military geospatial intelligence expert, told the Eurasian Times that Russia was unable to take down the Starlink network. He pointed out that Moscow could only destroy a handful of Starlink satellites, not many. They could only accomplish this by employing anti-satellite operations or directed energy weapons, both of which necessitate the placement of satellites into orbit. Low Earth orbits house the command and control center for the Starlink satellite network. Even if missiles were fired, thousands of them would be fired from the ground. Many of the rockets would be located at target if they were launched. Additionally, with time, the Starlink satellites' positions do not always remain constant. I think this kind of supposition is the best kind, but that's just my opinion. We may now look at Musk's meeting with the media, in which he said that it would be challenging to destroy the satellites at this time. We are now in a position to discuss these exchanges. There are 2,000 satellites, so it will be difficult for you to completely destroy Starlink, he explained. He said, "You will have problems doing so since there are 2,000 satellites," and added something about how many anti-satellite missiles they possess. However, we can launch satellites more quickly than they can launch anti-satellite missiles. I sincerely hope that we never have to put this theory to the test. Now that you know, folks, the gangster Russia is a threat to SpaceX's satellites. But fear not, Elon Musk is on the case. I sincerely hope that this won't have to happen. He's threatening Russia with consequences if they shoot down his satellites. In this day and age, Elon Musk is like the modern-day real-world Iron Man, the wealthy billionaire genius that everyone is trying to taunt by making a name for themselves. Still, it looks like Russia is bent on bullying Elon Musk by taking down his satellite in years of hard work. What do you guys think Elon Musk should do against this potentially big confrontation? If you want to keep updated on the latest news, don't forget to subscribe with notifications turned on. Click the video on the screen now to watch another fascinating video.